So to start off the headlight build, what I'm gonna be doing is just kind of preparing some of the stuff here. After like powder coating all of these like headlight buckets and all the components, like I was like, okay, this car needs like pretty parts to go on it, like new parts, you know? Like the old stuff that came off this car isn't gonna suffice. Okay, so we're gonna put the speed clips on this. Okay, now I'm setting that aside. What we're gonna put in first is the motor. And so this is the headlight motor, and this is where the relay for the motor connects. So I'm gonna be putting this piece in first. Okay, so right here are the terminals, and I just sanded them down to make sure it was just metal because this is the ground connection to the car. Super important, so I'm gonna hook these up before I put the motor in. That's what I've learned because it's pretty tricky to get it in once the motor's already in. Alrighty, so make sure your little rubber insulator is on here. So this is the connection to the relay. So I'm gonna be putting this in first. Alrighty, so the trick is you just gotta keep working it around. It's really tricky. Ugh. Okay, nylon pry tool, the trick. Got that in real quick. Alrighty, so this is 914 Rubber's relay, and these are really awesome because they have a backup built into it. They're redundant, so you won't be left stranded in case one of them goes out. Alrighty, so this is our headlamp with the pivots in it, and I already installed the headlamp connector from 914 Rubber. I'm gonna slide this in. So this is super tight. Like I did not realize how tight this fit is, but it is a tight fit. When you only got one hand, you gotta be on your toes. Alrighty, so right now I'm just gonna leave these two a little bit looser than finger tight, and I'm gonna move on to the other side just so that way I can adjust them. So you wanna make sure that there's enough space. Like what we're doing right now is you're just gonna kind of move it through its kind of like phases of motion here, and you're gonna make sure it doesn't hit your little set bolt. To install the push rod, you gotta make sure the motor is in the downward position, and how I'm gonna do that is I connected 2 leads into the red and the gray wires connected to the motor. That's in the positive, and then I connected the negative to the ground, obviously. And now I'm just gonna move it into the downward position. Perfect. So this is the new push rod from 914 Rubber. This thing, completely straight, perfectly perfect, and you can see it already has the washers built on top of it, so there's no need for any extras. So if you can see how this works, this would be the downward position because you would be pulling this at the farthest point, and then the front, it would be up, and then it goes all the way back down to go down again. So it doesn't ever have to change directions or anything, it's always moving in the same direction. So anyway, since we put the motor down, this will be in the back position. So you're gonna put it with the washer sides facing in. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna slide it onto the pivot. And now I'm just gonna loosely place this piece on. This is to test fit it here. Alrighty, so this nut is a special little flanged nut here, and that goes right on this piece. So I'm gonna hold this in place as it's so it's completely centered. Thank you. So these are the rubber covers that we cleaned off, and they have the R and the L on them. So this is the L. So I took off the push rod, and now we're going to be installing this kind of, you're gonna kind of jam it in, and it's really easy once you figure it out. So you just push it into the little slot here. Alrighty, so this piece is very, very important because when it's raining, water gets in here like crazy. So that's what this hole down here is for, but this protects the rest of the car and the components for the headlights from getting completely drenched. So now you're gonna install the push rod through the rubber piece and You can lift it up here to actually see it going through. So now you're gonna bend this back and you're gonna install the E-clip. And you're just gonna stretch this rubber over. Okay, so this is going to be the first of many times we will be putting on this painted cover, and we're gonna be checking the gaps. We're gonna be making sure it clears. So I'm gonna put it on like this, and I'm gonna raise it up the rest of the way, manually. So you can only turn these things counterclockwise. And on it, there's a little air on them, like you can't get it wrong. But that will raise it. If you turn it the other way, it'll fall off. The little knob will fall off. So make sure you're only turning it one way. Alrighty, so you're gonna center these little holes on the sides with the holes in the speed nuts. And we're gonna be checking the gap, so if anything gets anywhere close to any paint, we wanna be able to stop it. Alrighty, so that actually looks really good. Alrighty, so now we're going to be installing the LED bulbs themselves. So we have the bulb here, and then we have the LED piece. So we're going LED on these headlights, and it looks awesome. So, okay, it actually says top, so you don't have to worry about that. And then the top of the trim ring is where it says Hella. So I'm gonna put that at the top. And up. And then for the actual secondary bucket piece, these two are gonna go at 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So it's gonna go like this. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, we're good. Hella, top, 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 hella. Okay. Now, we're gonna get these little screws. Alrighty, so now we're gonna be installing these screws that help you adjust where your headlights are beaming at. So, we have these two little blocks that are gonna go. And these are very, very special little screws. You need an Allen wrench to tie these together. And also you can see, so on this screw here, there's like a little bit of a flat area, and that's for it to sit right here. Or I guess it goes this way. This one on this one on this. Okay, so now we're gonna be installing the spring. This is gonna go on the outside part. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to hook it into this hole here. Alrighty, just like that. And I'm gonna plug it in. Okay. Tuck that back in there a little bit. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna re-screw this on again, and we're gonna check it. Make sure everything is good. So we're gonna test fit this with the brow in there. So we have these little brow grommets that hold it in place. That's literally all that's holding this thing in place, and it's actually crazy that it doesn't like fall off, but it's effective. It works. I'm not judging. So I'm just gonna slowly lower this. It's super important to do it slowly and by hand because you do not want anything messing up your paint. Alrighty. See, that would not have worked, so that's not enough gap, so I'm gonna have to pull it down, make it go all the way through, and then I'll adjust it when it comes back up. See, because that's where it would normally lay, but that's like too tight. So this means I need to just shift the stuff inside around just a little bit, so that way this side goes up higher and fixes the problem we have here. Alrighty, now we're gonna try this again. So I tested it out and it all fits really great. I did some adjustments here and there, and now the gap looks pretty good. So I'm gonna tighten down all the bolts on the sides. Alrighty, so these are the white surrounds from 914 Rubber. And I know that technically for the late cars, it's supposed to be the black surrounds, but I've been really looking forward to putting on the white surrounds, and I think they just look so cool. And my car's already not gonna be stock. Like, it's gonna be an electric 914. Alrighty, let's test it. Oh my gosh, it worked. Yes! This looks so good right now. I'm so glad that I chose the white surrounds. Imagine this car just driving down the highway and you see the white surrounds. Perfect.